Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Trust everybody's doing well. It's 10 minutes past the hour, so we can pretty much go ahead and kick it off. Um, you know, Once again, this is our monthly support call. Pretty much all we're doing is um, take a look at the product because it's supposed to be a deep dive on a ServiceNow application, and then we kind of like get our practitioner share more on that application. So give us a walkthrough on it and then a demo. It's always the third Saturday of the month, and then we get topics like we do have for today. Um, or Obianajunwa was going to share for us. She's going to be taking us on the testing and the automated test framework and how all of that looks. So thank you for coming on time. As always, we appreciate it sharing your Saturday with us. Obi, the floor is yours. You can go ahead while as others come in, they can join. But remember, you're more than welcome to put, questions in the chat, although there will be questions for Q&A at the end also, um, so that way we can take them as we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on your location. My name is Obiano Joy. I started out as while I'm talking, I'm going to try to share my screen. So I started out as a business analyst, transitioned to the process side. From there, I started doing service mapping. And from service mapping, I transitioned into development. So at the moment, I'm actually a Snow developer on the item side. So, but today, I'm asked to talk about ATF. So I'm going to say, so I'm not a tester, but I have used ATF and I know the beauty of ATF. So I'm going to go ahead. Can you see like my slide by chance?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to talk about the beauty of ATF because I've used it a couple of times on the job. I actually work within the consulting space. So you know that sometimes you're able to move around. Consulting is like call it general merchandise. So today, if the tester is not around or something, you're able to fill in the gap, which for me is good because like a little bit of some things while you still have your area of specialization, and it also helps you to know where you're good in. It's like when you taste different foods, you're able to say, okay, I like this one better and all that. So for some reason, I actually like the ITSM part of ServiceNow, but Fit somehow kept me on the item side. That's the mapping. From mapping, I moved to events. I actually do even on the CMDB side. So I work with 3 teams. So that's the item side, even though I miss the ITSM side, but all of them are all integrated. So today we're talking about the power of testing and ATF. Some people might ask, okay, what is testing? For me, testing is, like when you finish cooking food now, you tell somebody, come and test what I've done. Is it sweet? I meet your criteria. When some say, oh, I don't want salt, I don't want this, I don't want that. That's the same thing with testing, but that comes out as a result of your clear cut out acceptance criteria. That's what was written in the story. Of course, I'm guessing that most of us on this call already know user stories and what a good user story should be, with the clear definition of what the definition of done is. So that is what gives birth. That's what will give you an idea of what you're testing for, the acceptance criteria, what the customer says, this is what I want. So we have two testing. The manual test, this is where you write out the test steps, which build up the test cases and then your test plans, and then you follow through. And like I mentioned earlier on about the acceptance criteria part. So when someone says, okay, I want this functionality, let me give you an example with maybe a form. A customer comes and says, oh, I want this field added to this form. Of course, in manual test, you're going to write, okay, yeah, you log in, you have to have this role to be able to view this form, and then, okay, did the field appear when I submit it? What was the behavior? Things like that, and then you're taking your screenshots along the way so that you're able to pass it or fail it and provide evidence as to why it failed. So that's for the manual test. But for automated, for some reason, some companies are not really using that though, which for me, I see it as easy because for automated, you're just using tools to simulate this process, So in automated testing, let's say you have multiple stories or multiple actions to test, you're just building the test, you're building the steps within the test. So that way it makes the work easy. Like, is the computer running it and it's just coming back to tell you, okay, it passed, oh, it failed. Why did it fail? You're able to view the results, which we're going to look at shortly. So, but I really don't know why companies have not really fully embraced the I switch over to the, okay, like I mentioned, Automated Test Framework. This is a powerful tool in ServiceNow used for testing, and it's always advised that it's done in the lower environment or sub-production. Some companies, they might have like different sandboxes, some have maybe sub-prod this, sub-prod that, where development work and things go on so that you're not distorting data in prod, more especially for reporting. Because definitely when it's testing, it's creating records and all that, even though it's going to roll back, but you really don't want to disrupt all of that within prod. So that's why it's always advisable to whatever play you're playing, let's be in the lower environment. And just like with technology, that it's like break and fix. So sometimes there's an issue and you're trying to find a way to solve it. So it's always advisable to do it within the lower environment. So peradventure, you press spoil. You're able to roll it back. I remember one time I was working on a particular request that was to modify like the change workflow, and I did it. And of course, sometimes when you do some modifications, you don't know other processes are going to be affected. And by the time I did that, oh my God, by morning, it was as if I released time bomb. Like they were running helter scared. Everybody like, what went wrong? This was good. There were a lot of change requests that were on queue that went back to somewhere in authorized state, somewhere already approved. Like it just caused a disaster in the whole system. Of course, I had to, and for some reason, which was bad though, it was deployed to the prod, and it was when it got to prod that all of that issue started happening. So I was able to roll it back. But for me, the lessons I learned then was if maybe we had run it more within the lower environment, maybe I would have figured out most of those issues and that would have been averted. But my bad, you learn from making mistakes as you go. So I continue. So the testing framework represents a set of guidelines or rules used for creating and designing test cases. Okay, And we have the ATF requirements. Normally, I think I have different instances, so I'm going to just activate, request a new instance on one of my accounts so that we can go through this, because on the other ones I have this already working. So I'm going to enable the properties, because if you don't enable those properties, you're not going to be able to carry out testing with that within that environment. And then, of course, these are the roles we have within the ATF. We have the ATF test administrator. This test admin role, once a user has it, the user can create or edit automated test framework properties. Like the user can, play around it, play with something, and can press spoil. And then we have the ATF test designer. And this role, you're going to be able to view automated test framework properties only, but you cannot create and you cannot edit properties. You can just view, you're able to see, okay, is it enabled and all that. And then we have the ATF workspace designer. This, with this role, you can view or set basic authentication profiles needed for REST endpoints that require authentication. And go down to my next slide. Okay, and of course, with all these roles come some permissions. And here are some of the permissions. You're able to view the test page, you're able to create, edit, delete tests, like I mentioned. You're able to create, edit, delete test steps, and you're able to view the step configuration page. You're able to view the test. We're going to see all of this, because some might say, what's test configuration page or what's the test runner page? We're going to see all of this when I'm going to demo. So you're able to see how it runs in the background. You're able to view the test suite results. You're able to view the test results, and execute user tests, view, create, it's called a CRUD, and execute tests. So I'm just gonna move over to the next so that we can start, even though in the system there are a lot of templates. That's the beauty about ServiceNow. I love ServiceNow because ServiceNow is easy. They make your work easy. Like everything is almost templatized, so you can modify to your use. So if you're like a novice and all that, at least they give you like baseline. So that way you're able to say, okay, I need this, I don't need this. You remove what you don't need and then run with what you need. Yeah. So I think I'm going to move over. This is time for hands-on. So on this one, we're going to be creating we're going to do 3 exercises. The first one, we're going to create a test for ESS. ESS, of course, is the non-ITIL view. And then we're going to do the ITIL test. And after that, we'll create a demo test suite. And we're going to add the 2 tests that we have to the test suite. So let me open. Sorry, no, I'm not showing that. This shouldn't take time. So should have. Oh my god. It just log me off. I said request instance. Sorry, I should have been requesting instance while I was talking. Because I don't want to use my other instance. I want us to like is it built from scratch, just to show you how to enable the properties, because on my other instance I have that enabled already, so I don't want this show you ready soon. Sorry, I should have activated that. So well, speaking about testing and testers, for me, I think within the ServiceNow space, I always say to people that somehow I like the job of a tester, even though I'm not a tester. Because, I mean, with testers, they don't get pulled into every meeting. In fact, I think why I left the BA space was I started getting irritated with being pulled into meetings. You know, you get pulled into meetings, they're talking and talking and talking, and somehow they expect you to capture everything that was said, both the jargon and the jargonist. Forgive my English, you know. So at some point, I started getting fed up with all of that. So I'm like, you know what? I think it's time for me to transition. In fact, I had this developer that most times when we go to meetings, I guess he gets bored of the talk. And at some point, when you now need him to explain stuff, the developer has disappeared though. You know, so I'm like, what type of nonsense is this? So that really pushed me, you know, to start learning technical stuff. So most times I tell him, okay, show me, so that just in case you ghost me on that meeting, I'm not stranded, you know. So somehow, that's how I found myself doing development work. And then speaking about testers, of course, it's only when a story is ready, that's when they notify them that, okay, you need to go test this, and you know, off they go. And you don't get to hear from them anymore until maybe there's an issue. That's when they come back to you to say, oh, don't mind me, I'm not wearing my glasses. Sorry, I need to put it on. For properties. ATF. Where did I see properties now? Okay. We'll go to properties. Like I mentioned, you need to enable, maybe I should hide this. Let me do this. So these are the two things you need to enable, these two properties. It says enable test and test suite execution. The default value is false so that tests don't accidentally run on production systems. Update the value to true on sub-production instances where you wish to run automated tests. This property is private. So that's for the first one, because if this is not enabled, you're not going to be able to run tests and test suite execution. So I'm going to enable both of them and save. Yeah. So I'll close this page. Come back here. So now we're gonna create text. So open this one. Remind me, I have too many tabs. So these are example of, like I said, they're always, ServiceNow makes it easy, you know, like templates that are already in the system. So if you're in doubt and confused about, okay, what am I trying to do and all that, you can always open one of these to copy, modify as needed. So I'm going to go ahead and create our own. Sorry. So I'm going to name this one. We're starting first with the ESS. Yeah. I'm going to name this ESS test. ESS test. Save. Sorry, I don't know why my system. Okay. So when you, I don't want this to disappear just in case. So the first step, so like this is what we have. So I'm gonna first add my first step, like I mentioned. This is where you add the step and from here you can add your template. So, but first I want to add a step, and that's going to be to create a user. So I'm going to name this my ESS, first name, last name. So test. So because this is, we're creating ESS, which is employee self-service, like they don't have the ITIL role. So that's why I'm not going to be adding roles to this user, because we're just trying to create the ESS test. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to, like I mentioned, I'm going to make use of the template because I like it easy. So I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna ask, okay, what table am I gonna be working with? I'm gonna choose the incident table. Voila. Like I said, this now makes the world easy. I think we always say the world works with ServiceNow. So this automatically has given me like a template. So now I'm going to go through it and decide on what steps I want to keep and what steps I want to erase. So right now it says, this is the description listing out the steps we have below. But looking at this already, I had gone ahead to create a user, and I'm going to open it up though, step by step. But looking at this, I see that I don't want the impersonate, because in step 1, I already have the impersonate. And if I scroll down to this place, I also don't want this submit form, because I'm going to convert this click UI action to do this step for me. So like I said, you can modify it to what you want and how you want to use it. So I'm going to start from here, from the description. Create a user. Create a user and impersonate a user with the same role. The same user. So said I'm gonna be removing the impersonate. That's save this first before going to work below the related name. Okay, so now that my description suits what I want, so now I'm going to come below here to make sure that the steps match what I want, what I've listed up here. So first, I'm going to remove this impersonate, because like I mentioned, step 1 already has impersonate, is doing both. So I'm going to remove this. and I'm going to remove this. Yeah, so that leaves me with 7 steps. So I like to save it on the go just in case. So I'm gonna open this first step. Oh, wow. Okay, so this one, like we already have the user here, like I mentioned. So I'll go back to the second one. Close this so that I don't have tabs open. I'll open the second one, which is open a new form. So and decides to be slow anytime I'm sharing. Sorry. Sorry. I don't know why my system is slow today. Why though? Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why it behaves this way though. Okay, so this is the second step, which says, so now you're just going to modify it, according to your need. So on this one, it talks about the execution order, which is the second step, is active. What's the description? Open a new incident form. Like I mentioned, we're working on the incident table. And this is the test, ESS step, application global, step configuration, open a new form. So here, view, I'm going to put ESS because that's what the employee self-service should. That's what. So I'm going to update it. Oh, close this one back. So we've done this one, and then I'm going to go over to the third step, which is set field values. So the open school. So this is setting your field value, um, table incident, execution 3, that's the third step and all that. So short description, I'm gonna write ESS test. ESS test. Color. I think that's what I just want for setting field value. Yes. So I come down to I think we should be in our fourth step now, which is setting field value validation. That's this one. So I'm going to open it up. Okay, so it says validate that the form matches the following conditions. I'm going to add my conditions right now here. I'm going to start with color. I'm gonna do so now I'm thinking of these, of course these are fields that I will think about, the fields that non-ITIL user can see. So I'll do short description. I always like to use contains, but just in case, maybe because a lot of times, if let's say you used uppercase and things like that, you know, when you say is, if it doesn't meet it, it's not going to show up. So most times I like to use contains so that if it misses one, it will catch the other. Then put ESS test. We'll come back to, let me close this other one. So I think we did step 4 the last time. So now we're going to switch to step 5, which is field state validation. So I'm going to open this again. Somebody might say, okay, but all this open. You know, but for me, I still prefer this because you're just going to do this one time and it will run, unlike when you're having to do the manual test. So for field validation, so this is you're setting what you want, you know, to validate it. So right now, I'm going to say mandatory short description. Let's use short description as well, mandatory field. I think that's all I want on this side. Okay. Close this. So we've done step 5, and then we move over to step 6. Step 6, this talks about the UI action visibility. What do you want to be visible? So I'm going to choose submit, the submit button. I call it, that is submit action, whatever word. So I'm going to choose. That's why I actually deleted the last step when we started, because that one also had submit. So in my head, I'm like, since I'm going to choose this one, there's no need having that one there. Yes. And come back to, so we did this one last, I think the step 6. So now I'm going to move to step 7. I'm hoping that I haven't missed something, but normally the thing I like about this, of course, if you miss something, it's going to show us by the time we run the test. It's going to show us what is not working. So now, step 7, what's the UI action? I'm going to click submit. That's what I want it to do. That's the behavior. And what's the assert type one? I want form submitted to the server. So I'm hoping that all the whole things I'm investing here gets to work. So now that I have completed the, like I've modified the steps according to what I want. So now let me see if all the ingredients have been put in, if it's going to work. So I'm going to click run test. Let's see where that takes us. So this is like in my spreadsheet, as a spreadsheet, the PowerPoint where it talked about run, and when I said we're going to get to that and all that. So it's going to, so this is the runner. So this is it. It's taking screenshots, setting field validation. Okay, so it's running step 6 of 6. I think it is done. So I'm going to come back to this place. Voila. So everything went well. Normally, if maybe you try to run it, and in fact, let me go to results. So if I came here and I saw something that I did not like, you know, of course, maybe a step this failed and all that, I'll just go to results and it will show me what it is that failed. But obviously, because everything went well, that's why we see success. And these are the screenshots. So like it's taking everything for you. Unlike if you have to do it manually, where you need to do screen grab, you need to go attach it here and all that and all that. For this one, the system is doing everything for you. That's the beauty. And of course, this is the test log, you know, the test transactions. So this is really helpful when it is that your test did not work, right? So, oh my God, sorry. So where were we now? What have I done? Okay, so to open this record, because like I said, you can always copy things and modify to your own use. So now that we're done with the ESS, this is the ESS. So instead of starting afresh and all that, now I want to go over to the ITIL, creating the ITIL test. So I'm just going to copy from here. I don't have to, you know, start afresh. So I'll just copy from here and modify it to what it is I want to use it for. Yes, so now that we're trying to go over to the ITIL test, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay. So I'm going to click on copy test. Okay, so I'm going to name this ITIL test. I'm going to remove. I'm not boring you guys though. But so I'm going to come in here now. I'm going to still leave this particular step, but here I'm going to now modify the steps because of course, you know, the first one, the user was ESS user. So now I have to add the role to this user because before this user did not have any role. So I'm going to have to do that. So let me first save while I modify on the go. Okay. So I'm going to open this first one. by this and then give a role. So I'm going to change this to item, give the test. And like I mentioned, I'm going to grant. So you can choose, depending on what it is you're doing, whatever role and all that you need the user to have that you need to impersonate, you add it there. So I'm just going to and now we're going to go over to step 2, which is open a new form. So earlier on, when we came into this place, we put the ESS view, but now I'm going to change this to default because that's the ITIL. So I'm just going to put default. Delete. We'll come to step 3. 3 is setting field values. Because of course, as an ITIL user, you're able to do more than the ESS. Description. Then we have color. Then we'll choose a category. Sometimes I like to be sure, so I'm just, this is me trying to make sure that. So here I'm going to choose category. Oh, I'm able to choose all of this because it's an ITIL user, so they have more privileges than the ESS. And now I'll do email. Okay, and then let's check. Do we have all that we need? ITIL test. Okay. So update. Now that we've done step 3, we're gonna come over to step 4. That's we set the field values in step 3. So now this is field value validation. So I'm going to modify this. So I'm just going to color is then short description. Like I mentioned, I like to use contains till test panel. Because this has to match. If it doesn't, it's gonna fail. So channel is email. Category like yeah, this is the one we did. So now we're going to set field validation. Color. Then color is a mandatory field. I guess, of course, if it fails, come back and modify. This is our step 5. Going to our step 6. That's this one. Which is the same for me. So I don't think I want to change anything because it's the behavior that I want. So that's fine by me. I'm going to leave it like that. So our step 7 should be the same for me since I copied it from the other. Positive that. So right now, I'm going to try to run the test and hope that conditions and everything I've put in match. So let's see. So let me just say that. So I'm going to run the test. I'm supposed to open the window. That's this one. Okay, so this is, of course, this is it showing you what it's doing. It's taking the screenshots, it's doing what you asked it to do. So I'm going to come back to the previous tab to see how far the journey is or went. And of course, we have it successful. So now we've created 2 tests. That's the ITIL test and the ESS test. So now we're going to create a suit. And I'm going to name it demo suit. And what is a suit? It's a combination of tests. So that's simple. So I'm going to come back here and come here. I'll open suits in another tab. And of course, like I mentioned, there's always an example for you. These are sample templates that you can make use of and all that if you're trying to figure out, okay, what's a suit made of and things like that. But since I already have my test that I want to make up my suit, so I'm just going to click new, and I'm going to name this demo, right? I'm going to name this demo test suit. Test suit. I'll copy this. And condition, this is like, so I'm going to use created on today, yeah, so that it can populate what I need. Go ahead and save it. So we have our two that I created. These are the ones I want to make up the demo test suit, but I'm gonna give it an order. So I think I want the ESS to run one first. So I'll put this one as 2, and then I'll do this one as 1. Yeah. So and I'll save and run. So now these are just 2, but in a live environment, you can have as many as test in to make up the test suits and all that. So I'm just going to click run test suit so that we see how it goes. Similar to how you're running the test, it's just that now these are like group of tests that you want to run at the same time. And that's why I said I prefer the ATF, because you just do the initial work and sit back and relax. And the system does what you want it to do. So let's see how this goes. I'm supposed to open the runner, sorry. Tabs open. It's always advisable to open the, yes, the client test runner, because some of them are running client side, server side, most times. So it's always advisable to open this particular window or tab. Okay, so now this running the ITIL, it just finished running the ESS. Okay, so I think it's done at this point, right? Yeah. Yes, so it's done at this point, and let me see. Someone might say, okay, although this is not part of the plan, so someone, let me say, like in a layman's term or something, somebody might say, okay, what is all this ESS, ITIL? So let me say that, let's say a customer comes to me now and says, I want a modification done to, I don't know, do we still have time though? I just want to know if I still have time to just quickly, if not, I can stop at this point. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, we
Do we still have time?
We're
Oh,
done. It's fully
okay.
fine.
Okay. So let me not go further than that. I would have shown a different example, like, when someone says, okay, I want to modify, um, let's say I want a field added to the incident table, incident form, and you added how you're able to, create a test for that one and all that and all that. But it's just similar to this. You just modify it as you
I
like.
mean, you can go. Um, it all depends on
I think
how
this is like
you.
a 1 hour, right?
It's an hour 30 minutes, so you still have 30 minutes. But the idea is for questions. If they
Okay,
do
so
have,
let's
but
give
there's no
room.
question.
Okay, there are no questions, so I can go ahead.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I'll close this. Let me see. So if I come here, so this is the incident form, and like I said, maybe a user says, I want you to so field type. So me, I'm a food suggestion. So let's just say, I know this has nothing to do, but I'm just giving an example. So I'm going to name this, let's say I name this food, and name if a food. It can be any other field, the person might maybe call it customer, whatever it is, the person says, oh, I want this field added. It might not even be an incident form. It can be a request form, a catalog item, So, but I'm just trying to use this as an example. So I come down to choice. First one, I'm going to call this one. Second one, let me go say. Third one, sorry, for those that are not Nigerians, these are the different types of swallow we have in Nigeria. Okay, so go ahead and close this. Now I've created this field for the customer. I've added this. So, and now I want to do a test. Like, of course, once the functionality, you have to test it out that, okay. So now I'm just going to copy this ITIL. First, I'll copy this ITIL test, and I'm going to name this, let me name this food test. Food test. Mm. test. Um, see, yeah, this is fine. Since of the incident, I think set field value. So here now, you know, my food has popped up here because I need to choose amala. Short description. Toast. Product. Sure. Let's take one. Maybe just come back and cross check my step 3. Okay, step 4. And I think I'll leave this one like this. So I'm hoping that this works, even though I normally like to go, in sequence like that so that I don't miss out anything. But this time I did not get to do that. So because I'm trying to save time. So I would just run this and see what happens. And of course, maybe if it fails, that will also give us an opportunity to see how it works when it fails and how you can remediate. So I think I'll save first. And then let me click on test and see. I didn't really go step by step how I would have loved to run. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it's done. My problem is that I do too many tabs open. Sorry. Okay, where is my tab? Oh my God, I'm guessing. Yeah, so this is it. Food test, it was successful. So this is just, just to show how um like in layman's term, something that you can relate to. Yeah, so it's not just testing for roles and all that and all that and all that. You can use it to test anything that has been built. You just have to feed the system, tell the system what you want. And that's it for me. I think we've gotten to the end of my pep talk. Thank you for listening. That
All
will
right,
be
good
all.
deal. Good deal. Good deal. Thank you for sharing. I'll come and ask how does one get the license for App Engine Studio? Um, on the App Engine Studio one, it's free for a student instance, which is a personal development instance, the PDI, which is like Obi showed us. If you want to, the license to purchase, then it's something you need to contact your ServiceNow account rep or account team. Depending on the subscription, say for example, if you're subscribed to whether ITSM, which they do have the default or a baseline, and then they have the professional and enterprise. So different license cater. Same for whether it's customer service or HR or IT operations management or strategic portfolio management or you name the area. But that way they can shed more light on if okay, App Engine is not included, then you need to buy that, or you hear something like Pro Plus, so you're having to add that as a subscription outcome. Yes. Yeah, you have your hand raised, so go ahead and come. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn the developer thing. So I got the PDI, the personal development um ID or whatever we call it. So I was able to get the app engine, but when I try to start developing, it gives me an error. Um, so I was trying to see how do I go past that, and also beyond that, you said if it's for students, so if I'm a student, if I have a student ID, can I be able to use it? Or would I have to pay, or do I have to pay still if I'm a student? And if I have a student ID?
Right. When you say it gives you an error, the floor is yours now. You can go ahead and share and show us what you have. But what it is this: you need a license to be able to create an app that you publish to the store that others should be able to, like for ServiceNow to approve it and it becomes available to others, if that's what you want. But if it's just to build apps to see how the process works and stuff, it's free for you to do that. So, like if you're trying to market or do things, right, that's where costing and stuff come in. But for you to build custom applications and see how applications work, no, that's free.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me log on and show you real quick. Give me 1 second.
Sounds good. We're on here. Once again, thank you everyone for the opportunity to come and learn more about um, the testing and how automated testing helps to drive that. Thank you, Obi, for sharing that experience and really driving it deep. A lot of companies are using automated test tools. Everest now provides the automated test or ATF.
I think
Um,
so. I think you're using. You might need to mute one of your because it's like there's like echo, like feedback. So I see.
okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Just give me a minute. I think I might log out from the other one. Thank you. All right. Okay.
Okay, so before I even start, I have another question too. So when you go into the how do I share this thing? Okay, share. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see his screen. Yes.
Yeah. So as part of it, this thing here. So I had another question.
Go ahead.
Um, not that one. So this is the one I was trying to do right here.
Which one? We're only seeing the developer associate application developer screen. So if it's now learning that you're talking about, that's different. You have
Yeah,
an opportunity to get the PDI, which is this is a sandbox strictly for training. You need to
yeah, that's
get
the
the
now learning that I'm
PDI.
talking about.
Right. So in now learning, when you say you're trying to build what you're trying to do, because they give you an instance and give you the right role for that instance for you to build. So that's what I want to understand. So you are here now. What are you trying to do?
Okay, let me stop sharing and I'll share the screen again.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Can you let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, this is a PDI. Yes. All
Yeah,
right, go ahead.
so when I do click on this,
Right. The role is different. That's why.
it takes me here.
Correct. You are using a different role. Here you see where it says App Engine Studio Creator role. Your role is wrong. Your role is not seeing the backend. You need to see the backend. So you must have chosen that you are not a developer. That is why. So you see where it says change role. Change that role to the admin role. You see the backend. You deliver. That's the only way. Without that, you can't do nothing. You can't.
Yeah, but so even the admin role, it requires a login, and I don't even have the password. If I when I enter
Hold
in my
on. Now
password,
we'll help you get you there. Just hold on. Right.
okay, sorry.
First thing first is to get you to change the role. The role is the admin role. Now you're in. Close this out. Right? See where it says manage password. Hold on. You need to refresh that because it needs to recognize that session. Then now you have to go to where it says manage password. Go back. Click on back. All right. So click on where it says manage instant password. Do you see that? All right. So go ahead. The password, the admin password, you are the admin of that platform. So copy that password. It should be showing you your password. For some reason it's not. So copy that just ahead of time. Just copy it. If you
Okay.
have close it, close it, close this. All right. So this should be refreshed now. So click on start building. Click on start building. So normally it would ask you, I think you're on the Utah version, it will ask you to update that password. So paste that password in there and then change it to the password you used to get in. It should be able to recognize you then.
I think it's still not changed because it shows creator here instead of admin.
No, this is admin here. I'm seeing admin. So
Oh, you
now
seen
if you
admin?
right, it's admin user role. So click on that. You need to close whatever sessions you had open because all of that will still remember. You need to refresh those for them to recognize that, and it should log you out and ask for a username and password, which you can put admin small letters and then put that password you typed. Should get you in.
Okay, so what if I do it in incognito that way?
You don't necessarily need that except you're trying to test, logging in from an instance at a different user, then you should do that. That's when you try to use that to try to boycott. But if not here, you just click on start building again. It should take you in as the admin because you had refreshed this. It should be in there because it shows that it's online. So it should take you in. If you click on not there, you don't need that again.
No, I was just trying to copy the
Or the password.
yeah.
Okay. Click on start building. It should pop you in. It should take you in. Except you have several screens. Even though it should pop you in there automatically and go in. It might ask you to change that password. So once it does that, just put that, that you typed in and then include that again. If not, you can release it and get a new one. It doesn't take time. It means that it might not have completed its circle run, but because it should show you a
Uh,
password.
oh man, thank you so much. I've been trying to struggle in this for like 4 days. I'm like, am I just stupid or?
No, thank God.
Okay, thank you so much. That's what I wanted to find out.
Hey, there's no help. It's all one community. Reach out, right? We'll try to
Yeah.
get it done. That's all it is. But yeah, as always, the video will come in a couple of minutes. You can download. You can ask questions. We'll have OB's contact so you can connect with her. Um, you know, there's a lot of capabilities that are out there. Are you going to have all the answers? No, but you should have enough to get you there. Like, you know, get the mix going. It's like when you're trying to cook, right? You as you get around, you're refining, you're tasting, checking. Is it salty? Is there pepper? Is there stuff? So you're able to do that as you need to.
Yeah,
Okay,
how
everyone.
important is the CAD certification?
What do you mean? So ServiceNow provides the certifications. You just need to take deltas. The deltas used to be, bi-yearly, so twice a year, but now they are, or biannually basically, but now it's once a year you do the deltas. So for each one, you just need the CSA as a baseline, then you can go ahead and do the CAD and CIS and all that. Even if you're doing standalone, you need to have a firm understanding. So that's administrator gives you that um, foundation, yes. But the CAD, yes, as a developer, you're also able to renew it every once a year, yes. That's you're doing the Delta open book, 10 questions, 20 questions, 6 to 20, whatever. You do what you need to do. Just read through, see the updates, and do that, and then that's really all it is.
Okay,
The
but in terms of someone who's coming into the field, who hasn't been in the ServiceNow ecosystem for ever, will he help in like finding getting jobs and stuff, or is it just for formality?
Okay, so when you say do you mean this session or do you mean the next the now learning? What do you mean? What
No,
do
I
you
said
mean?
when you get this CAD certificate and you have it on your
Oh, great.
resume, does that actually help in finding jobs, or is it just like the
Right, right.
companies ask for it?
Yeah, especially even now. So the way the market is working, great question comes. So the way it is this, right? You're in IT, you need to have ITIL and Scrum baseline. So that's foundational. You need to understand the IT concepts, IT speak, and your role in it, right? And then now will look at the technology. So for ServiceNow, you need to have the CSA, to show that you are an admin and dev kind of guy, and even analyst within there. That's for you to really say you have spent some years and within ServiceNow. You need that CSA, right? That administrator set. Um, then for you to have the CAD, it shows that you are now the admin because one is administrator. Then now you are now certified as a developer. The developer is hot too in the market, just like the analyst is hot, and a ton of other certifications too as well. Um, but what I can tell you for a fact is right now, the way ServiceNow, I think they've been doing this since 2019 or 2020, I believe, and then they try to revamp it. I think the last 2 years, the way they are going, you need to have these certifications. One to even get the job. That's the way they are going. Because why do I say that? As in the baseline, you need to have the CSA, the CAD, especially if you're a developer. You need that certified up there, right? Um, because now partners and then even customers, ServiceNow is pushing that they must have certified practitioners or professionals actually running their ServiceNow office or running their ServiceNow practice. So to be able to keep a a or maintain your partner level or even your customer, for you to say you're getting true value or the impact of your ServiceNow investment, those are what would pretty much win you over. So and that's the truth. Right now, some would not even discuss with you if you don't even have it on your resume. They won't even call up. And then ServiceNow, if you go to that Now Learning, also it tries to break it down. That's why they do that part where you see that as developer, administrator, project manager, all those roles, right? Analyst, whatever. Just to kind of explain, see how the role is, especially for newbies. They have like what's it called? They have like a average salary range so that you kind of like have an idea. But yes, one thing is for certain: if you have the CSA and the CAD, right, you should have a job. Even just the CSA too, you should have a job. The only thing is that yes, the job market also, it depends. You have to also put in the work, no doubt. You must be able to, apply for a job because it's a job in itself. So you should be hungry, get enough hands-on on the platform like you're doing in Now Learning or your PDI, practicing the tool, because there's no difference. The difference between your tool and the company's tool is that the company is paying. ServiceNow is giving it to you to go and check a look at all the suites of applications they have, the ones that interest you or the ones that you see maybe a job description about. Go and deploy it. It's all plugins, right? Suites of applications. Some of them are active by default, but once you're the admin, go to the plugins list, go there, look for it, deploy it, take a look at how it works. So play around it. Go to documentation, look at it, and then it's kind of like, guides you step by step for what to do. Or you can go to that Now Learning page, right? Or what they call learning plans. Go to learning plans and then see how to use your PDI to work there. The only thing is that there will be no validation compared to Now Learning. There on the learning plan zone on the PDI, they don't validate, but that gives you also reinforced learning. Yes, reinforced learning.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome,
Yeah.
Mohammed. So, Adela says, I agree. Yeah, they won't even talk with you. Yes, if you don't have your implementer certification. Yeah. So implementer is more of process side, and then that you're a dev too. Yeah, because those implementations just shows you can deploy the solution. So, um, uh, but for me, baseline, you're in IT, you have ITIL, you have your Scrum, um, you have a ServiceNow CSA, you can add the CAD if you can. You should be well on your way. Then a couple of CISs for me: ITSM, HR, customer service, because those are the experience layers. Having to deal with customers, employees, IT folk. But there's also others, like if you're operation area item, there's service mapping. There are so many, but once you get at least three, you can now talk of getting into a tech arc position where it's expertise, your brain power then. But it should be fine. The basic thing is to get in there and then get a job and then earn a decent living. Which with the service now too, you should be able to do it. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye bye.
Bye.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Bye.